So tonight at 9 PM, possibly earlier depending on how quick I finish my work, I shall be streaming Euro Truck Simulator 2 over on the Omegon Plays channel. Also, there is a new video on the Moiski Live channel. Link to both down below. Now today I want to talk about PayPal. Many of us use it, I do. All of my donations on live streams go through Streamlabs, which go to PayPal. My Patreon goes to, again, PayPal. It is an easy way to keep my money in one place, so when I do my taxes, I can easily assess what comes in and goes out. It is a service I am quite grateful for, because then I'm not having to give up my personal information to other people. It is done in one place. I know people who don't like PayPal and then they insert a tinfoil hat reason. That's your own reason, not going to talk about it. But over the years, since more censorship has become prevalent, people have lost access to it. There are a number of YouTube creators that have. There are a number of former YouTube creators that used PayPal. There are a number of public figures that have used PayPal, or use, I would argue, the majority of people in everyday life have a PayPal account and use it to an extent. Prior to YouTube, I used mine for eBay. It made things so much easier than saving my card details on eBay, a site I didn't really trust with my money anyway. Apparently I trusted PayPal more then, but I was naive. As time has gone by, more and more people in many different walks of life have had their PayPal accounts terminated. A number of well-known public figures would include the likes of Tommy Robinson, Alex Jones. I think, didn't Sargon lose his, or was that Patreon? I think it was Patreon. Also, to include to that, a number of sites, startup businesses no less, that were created as alternatives to the mainstream equivalent. The best examples would include Subscribestar, that used to use PayPal as a payout method, BitChute, Gab. Now Gab we can talk about all day and their rather interesting censorship, but we're not going to. Subscribestar and BitChute, though, were supposed to compete with the likes of Patreon and YouTube. Now the point was with those companies, it was meant to exist so people could have their voice and speak freely. That was the whole point, because they were being pushed away from the main platforms because their voices were being censored. This was proven to be the case with either a channel termination or demonetization of their channel, or the loss of their Patreon page, even though they brought a lot of money to the table, which led then to a mass exodus of people who then went to the alternative, which makes more sense because there's a lack of censorship going on at this present time. Although getting a payout through Subscribestar is an absolute nightmare. Small price to pay, I'm sure, for many, so that they can at least retain the income they have then lost from their YouTube pages. The point is, as time has gone by, alternatives have been created and the mainstream has tried to shut them down. To do so would also mean to shut down the voices that disagree with the narrative being pushed. And I don't like using that term, but it is what it is. A tautology. We deal with tautologies here, by the way. Sorry, quacks. Well, to add to this, PayPal on Wednesday of last week has decided to alter things a little. They've decided to add another type of entertainer to the list of undesirables. Those who should be sent to Azkaban, those who should have their soul sucked out instead of them doing the sucking. I assume by that one joke alone, you might understand where I'm going with this. Last week, PayPal decided to block payments to adult performers who upload their content to one of the largest sites for adult content in the world, which is a statement that has been taken directly from that very adult platform. In its statement, the adult platform in question said, "We are all devastated by PayPal's decision to stop payouts to over 100,000 performers who rely on them for their livelihoods. We sincerely apologize if this causes any delays, and we will have staff working around the clock to make sure all payouts are processed as fast as possible on the new payout methods. While I'm sure some are okay with cryptocurrency payouts, I'm hoping they do it just by a bank transfer." A spokesman for PayPal told the National Review that following a review, they discovered that the adult site in question had made certain business payments through PayPal without seeking the permission of PayPal, with them having had no option but to take action to stop the transactions from occurring. PayPal, though, refused to comment on whether the decision was down to a technicality or a conscious decision to cut off adult performers. It should be noted that in the acceptable use policy, which is where many now think this is where PayPal have acted, PayPal state that certain sexually oriented materials or services are forbidden transactions. But since the massive adult movie, film, entertainment site has existed for a considerable amount of years, one can assume this is not what it was. Because if it was that, then the adult site in question should have been taken down years ago, and considering their size, you can be sure the majority of PayPal's employees are not just familiar with the site, but have also, let's say, used it for their own gratification. Maybe themselves made a donation to one of their favourite performers, or subscribed to their channels, which I believe, like Twitch, costs money. Which leads on to another suspicion, because the adult site in question recently removed a content partner called Girls Do Prawn. Let's go with that. Because the contractual agreement that benefits both the channel and the adult site in question through views and advertising had to be severed after the owner and employees were formally charged with trafficking. Other counts as well, a bit more aggressive, but that's the most obvious one. The reason for that charge in question on that particular official content partner format anyway was that nearly 22 women in question sued the adult production company for fraud, emotional distress damages and misappropriation of their likeness because they had responded to Craigslist ads which sought out models and were then coerced into performing in the adult videos. What has damaged the adult site in question, the one that lost its PayPal access, is that they kept the official channel with dozens of videos which had multi-millions of views up for months after the allegations had emerged. Which is a consequence for all the girls that didn't want to do that and felt coerced into performing these acts. They ended up getting doxxed because of it. Which is of course unacceptable, and if they had not intended or wanted, desired to be a part of that and then felt they were being bullied and pressured into doing it, they do have a leg to stand on. How strong that leg is, you can all debate. But they have a leg to stand on, and with that channel in question, the content partner that is, yeah. It should be noted, a lot of the content in question from the channel that has since been terminated, the content partner, has been re-uploaded. So those videos are hardly going to disappear, and they do still, for the majority, exist on the adult site in question. I sorely doubt that those videos will ever be gone. The adult site, while speaking to Motherboard, said that decisions like that of PayPal and other major companies do nothing but harm efforts to end discrimination and stigma towards adult workers. While we still have several payment methods for our models available, we will continue to add more adult worker-friendly ones and explore cryptocurrency options in the near future. It should be noted there is a considerable list of bank and payment services and payment processors that actually do not work and refuse to work with the adult industry. The banks would include JP Morgan Chase Bank, the Bank of America, Capital One Bank, Citibank, credit unions, Visa, MasterCard and Merchant Account, VC firms and investors, PayPal, Square, Stripe, Braintree, Google Wallet, Square Cash, Snapcash, Skrill, Checkout, Intuit, Venmo, Amex Serve, WePay, Circle, Green Dot, Gift Rocket, TransferWise, Coinbase, Payoneer, Dwoller, Google Checkout, Amazon Payments, Amazon Gift Cards, affiliate programs, along with crowdfunders like GoFundMe, Patreon, Gift Forward, CrowdTilt, OnlyFans. There are more, by the way, including social media platforms, but these are ones that pay out. I should also point out, for the sake of criticism, Patreon does in fact permit lewdish content from those rather interesting cosplayers and other people who do modelling shoots, who then include lewd content, but they then upload that to ManyVids, or they'll include a private Snapchat. But yes, the list is quite long, so PayPal are hardly exclusive in all of this. And I'm sure I'll give you the list, by the way, linked below. Many of those payout and payment processors, some have rules for the kind of content they find acceptable. With this, I'm very much interested to know what you think. I personally consider it an absolute form of discrimination. I don't think there's anything wrong with people wanting or getting paid through a payment provider. Considering some of the business dealings you all do anyway, I think the adult industry should be okay. Please let me know in the comments below. So I hope you'll have a fantastic Tuesday, and thank you all for listening.